All right. So today we're going to talk about counting by fives, tens, and hundreds. So what are we doing? We're skip counting. Oh yeah, like we've never done that before, right? Every day on our morning work. So how can I use place value to help me skip count? Remember when we're skip counting, we're looking at what number is changing as we count. And that's going to help us determine our pattern. So in this case, it's actually telling us our pattern. It's telling us to count by tens. So we're going to say 25, 35, and the next one, since we're counting by tens, is going to be 45, right? The only number that's changing in this case is the tens place because we're counting a short distance. So 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. Okay, so that's the difference in the pattern, all right? Each tens digit increases by 1, so it's increasing by 1 10. Okay, again, we just did numbers by reading the word and writing the symbols. So in this case, 27 and 354. So 27 should be 27 and 354 should be 354. We're going to write these in words. Remember, if we have a tens place with a number behind it, we have to use that hyphen in writing the word out. So this would be 160 hyphen 5. This is 470 hyphen 1. So that's what it should look like. There's that hyphen that I was referring to. Okay? Again, if you need help writing these numbers, use that sheet from yesterday. It's going to help you a lot. Which number is the same as 116? Well, if it's 100 and it's a 3-digit number, a 1 has to be in the hundreds place. So that takes these two out right away because there's no 100. It's 600 in those. We're looking for 100. So it has to be one of these. So then we have to decide this word, 16. What digits represent 16? Choice A or choice B? If you said choice B, you are correct. Good job. All right, so we have to find the pattern when we're counting, okay? And we're looking at the places. In this case, we have 2-digit numbers, so we're looking at a tens place and the ones place. Well, the pattern that I'm seeing, right away my eye catches the 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0. That tells me right away that our pattern is what? What are we counting by? If you said fives, you are correct. In this one, it's actually telling us to use base 10 blocks. So if we're using base 10 blocks, what are we going to be counting by? Hopefully you said tens. So 10 would be where we'd start, adding each time. And so 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Now here's where it gets a little trickier, but we've done this on our morning work, okay? So this shouldn't be new. Mike starts counting with the number 115 and he finishes with the number 715. What counting pattern is Mike using? So we have to decide what is he counting by, and we can look at our places. So we look at our hundreds place, our tens place, and our ones place to decide what is our pattern in order to help us figure out what goes here. In this case, if you look at your ones place, remember that's the far right-hand side, those are all the same number. So we're probably not counting in the ones, okay? How about the tens place? When we got a 1, a 1, and a 1 in the tens place. Those aren't changing, so we're probably not counting by tens either. So let's look at our hundreds place. We have a 1, a 2, and a 7. So what do you think we're counting by? Yeah, we're going to be counting by hundreds. So 115, 215, 315, 415, 515, 615, 715. And there we go. So using your place value is important in helping you find the patterns, okay? It's going to make a big difference. So let's go to your math book. We're going to look at page 327 today. On this page, it's another hundreds chart. This time they start with 201 and go up to 300. They give you some instructions down here for coloring when you skip count. You can do that if you think that'll be helpful to you, but you don't have to do that since we've been practicing skip counting all year long. okay? So I'm going to go to page 328. If you look at the firefighter here, he's climbing a ladder, and each step on the ladder is called a rung, okay? So as he climbs up each rung, he's counting by something. In the first one, he's counting by 5, so each number increases by 5, okay? So it's 5 more. The second, each rung is increasing by 10, so each number is 10 more. And down here, this last ladder, the rungs are counting by 100, so each number increases by 100 more. So let's look at number 1. Notice that some of the numbers are highlighted. That's where our attention needs to focus, okay? So I'm on page 328, so you might want to look at page 328 in case you can't see this very well because of the glare. But on page 328, we're looking at these highlighted numbers. We have a 4, a 5, a 6, and an 8. So what do you think we're counting by? Obviously, it's the tens place because that's the place that's highlighted. So we're going to count by what? Well, we're going to count by tens. Okay, so the pattern is 10, but is it 10 more, so are the numbers increasing? Or is it 10 less? The numbers are getting smaller. Well, let's see, I have a 4, 5, 6, and an 8. I think that tells me my numbers are increasing, so I have 10 more. All right? So if we're adding 10 more, it should be 340, 350, 360, 370. Good. And then 380. All right, let's look at this next pattern here. The ones place is highlighted. So obviously we're counting on the ones place. So we're probably not counting by tens. So if I look up here, okay, the ones place is usually going to be counting by fives in this case. So the pattern is 5. And are the numbers getting bigger? So is it 5 more? Or are the numbers getting smaller, so it's 5 less? Let's check and see. I have 575, 580. 80 is bigger, isn't it? So it's going to be 5 more. And so what number comes next? Go ahead and fill it in. You should have written 585. And the last one, 595. Good job. Let's look at number 3 and 4. Okay? When we're looking at the patterns, we can tell that the pattern is counting by hundreds if we just look at this first number. Okay? Even if it wasn't highlighted, you should be able to tell that because the numbers in the first place, which is the hundreds place in a 3-digit number, that's the one that's changing. So this pattern is 100, but are the numbers getting bigger, so it's 100 more, or are they getting smaller, so it's 100 less? They're getting smaller in this case, so it's 100 less. So if we look, we have 9, 8, something, 6, 5. And the other numbers are staying the same. So 941, 841. What comes after 800? 741. All right, let's look at this one. The last digit is highlighted for us. If we refer back to the top of our page, if the last digit is highlighted, we know we're going to count by fives in this case, only because in this lesson we're counting by fives, tens, and hundreds. That's it. So we have to be counting by 5, so the pattern is 5. But are the numbers getting bigger or smaller? If they're getting bigger, it's 5 more. If they're getting smaller, it's 5 less. We have 680, 675, 600 something, 600 something, 660. I think they're getting smaller. So it's going to be 5 less in this case. So let's fill in the numbers now. We have 680, 675. Keeping with my pattern, we know it's going to be a 0, so it's going to be 670. And we know that a 5 has to go between the 2 zeros. And we know that it's 600 something. 10 less would be a 6. Okay? So we have 680, 675, 670, 665, 660. So you can always tell a number pattern by looking at the place. Okay? And in this lesson, as I said, we're only counting by fives, tens, and hundreds. So if it's in the ones place, you're counting by fives. All right? Let's go ahead and turn to the next page. On your next page, it's 329. 329 is exactly what we just did. If it's easier for you, If it's more, you can just write an M. So you might want to put this at the top of your paper. And if you're counting less, you can just write an L for less. So for instance, if I'm looking at this one, I can tell right away that this one's going to be more. So I'd put an M on there. All right, and I can tell right away that this one, the numbers are getting smaller, so I could just put an L there. Okay? So that way you don't have to write out the whole word. You may absolutely write out the whole word. That would be great. But I know some of you have some big handwriting. Try to work on that. Make it a little smaller. But since it won't always fit, you can go ahead and write the M or the L, okay? It's totally up to you. Whatever's easier and makes more sense for you. All right? And then on page 330, we have the same. We have some word problems here. All right? You should be able to do this brain builder because he is counting backwards. And he's counting by fives, and he's going back 6 times. So you have 6 groups of 5. You can use your fingers. Okay, you got 6 groups of 5, so you're going to count by 5s. And he starts with this number, and he says he ends here. All you have to say is yes, because whatever the reasoning is, if he counted correctly. If he didn't count correctly, you're going to say no, because, and you're going to tell me why he didn't count correctly. Same down here. You should be able to do this one as well. Remember, you're using sentences with words, not number sentences. So Felicia's going to count from 300 to 400. She wants to know which way is going to be faster. Is it going to be faster to count by 5s or 10s? So you tell me. It's going to be faster to count by either 5s or 10s, and you tell me why. Why is it faster to count by that number? Okay? Remember, you're using word sentences, not number sentences. Then we have page 331. For your homework page, it's the same as before, and then your last page is the same as well. Go ahead and do the brain builder. Sherry's going to be counting, and Miguel says that she made a mistake. So you get to be the teacher. You get to tell Sherry what she did wrong. Use your words. Nice sentences there, okay? Again, if you have questions or there's a problem that you don't understand, tell me. Let me know. Mom can send a picture. Dad can send, whoever. Somebody can send me a picture and say, we're having trouble with this one. I'll be more than happy to talk to you on the phone. Whatever works for you, okay? So go ahead and get to work, and I will see you later.